In this video, we're going to look at how to manipulate tabular data using the tabular data processor in RAMP. When I say manipulate, I mean to change the structure of the tabular data set rather than change the values or calculate new values in that data set. In a previous video, we addressed the tabular data structures that RAMP expects, and that being the standardized ASCII CSV format. So if you're not familiar with that term and what that is, go and check out some of the previous videos that address how to manipulate ASCII data and create standardized ASCII CSV files that RAMP likes and expects to use. So if I open the tabular data processor, you'll see there's a series of many methods in here. We're going to look at the ones that manipulate or change the structure of tabular data sets. Those being, we're going to look at remap fields, delete fields, rename fields, replace header. We're going to look at changing the order of records based on the value of a field within a tabular data set. We're going to look at how to split a tabular data set into a series of smaller files, and conversely how to take a number of different files and merge them into one tabular data set. And lastly, we're going to look at how to reformat tabular data sets into a new ASCII structure as you need. So let's look at having remap fields first. To do this, I'm going to use an example data set to talk through. So let me open an example data set here. Okay, and you'll see that this tabular data set has a number of different fields: dist or distance, offset, x, y, and value. If I open the tabular data processor, and I'm going to now choose the remap fields. So what this does is it takes an input file, say we give it this one, and it allows you to define the output fields. So this is a comma-separated string of the fields that you would like to output into a new file. So this allows you to change the order that the fields are specified and indeed omit specific fields. So for example, in this case, I might say, well, I'm not interested in the offset field, and I want to write the new file in this order: x, y, dist, and value, and omit the offset field. So it's going to write the output file with the records in this new, or the columns in this new order. The output file is the file that I want to output to, and it can be the same as the input file. It will just be overwritten. Delete fields is fairly intuitive. I simply choose which fields I want to delete. So I might want to delete the offset field in this case. And again, I specify an output file, and that output file will now have the same data, but the offset field will be missing, or column will be missing. Rename field, again, pretty intuitive. I choose the name of a field. I might say value, and I want to give it a new name, and I might call it depth. Again, I specify an output file, and the new tabular data set is written with the value field now changed with the name depth. Replace header is kind of a way that allows you to bulk remove or change the name of the headers. So it's the same as rename, but it allows you to change the entire header line, so you can rename multiple columns in one go. So for example, again, with this data set, I might say, so this needs to be comma separated, and I need to specify the same number of header items as I have fields in my data set. So in this case, I might say, I want the new header to say distance, offset, easting, northing, and depth. And that would now be the new names that are given to the columns or the fields within this tabular data set. So again, it's just a bulk way of renaming fields essentially. And again, I specify an output file. Let's look at the next method now, which is order by value. This allows me to pick an input file, to choose a field that I want to order by. So these fields need to be numeric, so I'm going to order by the value field. and it asks me if I want to order it in ascending or descending order. So I'm going to choose to output the file in ascending order, and I'm going to put it into here, example delimited audit, and click OK, and it's processed it and done it. Let's just have a look at that. You will notice that now when I open that file, the value fields here are in ascending order. So negative 179.00996 is the smallest or minimum value, and right through to the end of the file where I have my maximum value. So it's ordered that correctly. The next methods that I want to look at are split. Split simply allows you to choose an input file and define how many records or lines you would like to output to a series of different output tabular data sets. Essentially, I give it an output file root name. So if I chose this data set again, and my root name might be let's say example delimited data underscore split. That's my root name. And what it's going to do, every 1,000 lines within or records within this tabular data set, it's going to write out to this new data set with this base name, and it's going to append a sequential number to the end of the file. So if there was, say, 3,000 records in my input file, it would create this output data set underscore split 1, underscore split 2, and underscore split 3 dot CSV, whatever I want to call it. So that's how the split method works. The merge files method takes a folder of input files. So I'll specify an input folder, and I will say, hey, take all the .csv files in there and chuck them into one output file. So there's some assumptions that this makes. The files that you merge together have to have the same number of columns in all of those files, but the headers do not have to match. The header, I believe, that will be used will be from the first file that's encountered in the input folder. So there we go. That's how we merge files together. The last method I wanted to show was reformat. This allows you to choose an input file, re-specify what the header line says. You can change the delimiters. So if I don't want a comma delimited, I could space or tab delimiter it, and then specify my output file. So it's a pretty quick way of just exporting a new delimited format that is not necessarily compliant with the standardized ASCII CSV format that RAMP uses. So that was a quick introduction to the methods in the tabular data processor that allow you to manipulate data. Thanks for watching.